following is a paid political announcement.
This is Marty Dolan. I ran against Jamal Bowman and AOC because I believe New York City needs to turn away from socialism after 5 years of disastrous policies. Now I'm running for public advocate so we can get New York City back to basics and focus on the municipal excellence you deserve. Go to martydolan.org to find out how you can help. I'm Marty Dolan. I approve this message, paid for by Marty Dolan for office.
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Let's go now to Charles Marino, former Homeland Security Department advisor, former Secret Service agent. As we're talking about President Trump, he is going to go back to Butler, Pennsylvania tomorrow, Charles. And this is, of course, where the first assassination attempt against him happened. There is going to talk about what a security undertaking that's got to be. Wow.
Well, it will be, but you'll see resources and security plans in place that should have been in place on July 13th, which were failed to be implemented by the Secret Service and state and local law enforcement. So you'll see the resources tomorrow match the threat level of the former president, which is exactly where they need to be. He's currently receiving what I would say complementary resources that make his security match that of the current president. And the threat level justifies that.
Have you seen anyone be held accountable yet, Charles? I mean, no one's been fired from the Secret Service with all the mistakes that you and so many others acknowledge.
No, not yet. As a matter of fact, it took quite some time, if we recall, for agents to even be placed on administrative leave, which should have taken place the very next day and is standard following a significant event with any law enforcement agency around the country. That would have been done immediately, but it wasn't. People still have not been held accountable or fired. And the American public deserve transparency on this. Not only are we not seeing decisive action being taken by the Secret Service, but we're also not seeing transparency regarding the FBI investigation. Remember, we were just dealing with one site here in Butler, Pennsylvania. This investigation should not drag on for years.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Ed Cox, I'm thinking too, like, I actually think it's an amazing moment that tomorrow, at 5:00, he's going to be doing this rally, several months after what happened. What a symbol of like coming together. And I was reading that, the family of the firefighter who was killed is going to be there. A couple of those who were injured that day are all going to be there. I mean, what a symbol of like sort of rising. It's like that fight that we saw on that day. But what a message of strength at a time where we're seeing waffling all over the place.
That is Donald Trump. Fight. And he made that point when he was wounded, and he made it under a time of great stress for him. He didn't know what his wound was, and yet that's his spirit. And that's what I've seen from him personally. He has given that message. You got to fight.
Yeah, amazing. Charles, before we let you go too, in the middle of all this, obviously it's the Jewish holidays too. Tons of security at synagogues and Jewish sites all over the country. And then also tomorrow, there's supposed to be this enormous protest, anti-Israel protest in Times Square. This is like a security. I can't even imagine how much stress is on, whether it's local law enforcement and also the feds. This is really tough stuff, right now as we're heading into the election.
Yeah, well, the threat level here in the United States is through the roof, and the Biden administration hasn't helped that by having the country completely wide open to whoever wants to come in with no ability to thoroughly vet them. So, world events have a direct impact on our threat level here. The American public expect that the homeland's going to be buttoned up by the president and his administration. And that has failed to happen. And it's left us open and susceptible to those world events coming right across our southwest border and agents of Iran and Russia, and the list goes on and on and on, exploiting these open borders and coming into the country and possibly carrying out attacks against the Jewish community.
Yeah, absolutely. Charles Marino, thank you very much. Former Secret Service agent. We really appreciate your thoughts, and I hope everybody just stays safe. Thank you, Charles.
Have a good night.